Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another movie review. This time we're doing movies of 2021 that I've seen so far, except Godzilla vs. Kong and Mortal Kombat. I've already reviewed those. This is a rant, because I haven't done one in a while, and I need to get out some frustration right now. This is a family adventure film from 2021 that premiered on Netflix back in January. I saw it in like February. It was so freaking boring. I don't know what the critics saw in this movie. It stars a bunch of people I've never heard of, mostly. You have Kia Pihu, Alex Aiano, Lindsay Watson, Owen Vaccaro, and Kelly Hu, and that is Finding Ohana. Yeah. Basically, if you took Moana, Lilo and Stitch, The Goonies, and the Dora movie from a couple years ago, and put it in a blender, you get this mess of a movie. And I have a lot of problems with the movie, but I'll get to that. Good things. The movie does look good. It's shot very competently. There's a lot of nice landscapes of the island of Hawaii, the islands of Hawaii, and it's a beautiful looking film. Even when they film in New York, the premise is the film follows two Brooklyn's siblings on a trip to Oahu where they discover their Hawaiian heritage and hidden treasure. It was a representational film of Hawaii, but it's boring, guys. This movie is so freaking boring. Because I saw Moana, and Moana was not over 2 hours long. You know how long this movie is? 2 hours and 3 minutes. 2 hours and 3 minutes. That's longer than any Pixar movie we've gotten in years. You know why I complain about that? Because a kid's movie does not need to be more than 90 minutes. Once it passes the 140 or the 150 mark, it starts to get really slow. And I'm like, okay, can you please end this movie right now? And I don't think the acting's bad, mostly, except for that kid that the main brother in the movie. He's a singer. He's not an actor. The girl that plays Peely, she's good. She's a little girl, so I'm not going to ravage too much about her. Chris Parnell's in the movie, but he's in a flashback that nobody cares about. There's way too many subtitles in this movie. I know it's Hawaii, but do you have to subtitle half of the dialogue that the grandpa, whatever, does? It's just so boring. It's too much. It's like I have to read subtitles. This is the same problem I had with the other Netflix movie that I saw a few weeks ago. I'm going to talk about that one also. And there's an actor in this movie I haven't seen since he was a kid. Speaking of the Goonies, you have Ki Hugh Kwan. Yes, Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is in this movie. And he's an older dude. He's in his 40s. And I'm like, I recognize him. I'm like, oh, look, it's Short Round. His name is George Fan. But he has nothing to do in the film. They're looking for the kids because they're going through like freaking caverns and temples and whatever on the island, looking for the treasure or whatever. Again, I saw that in the Goonies. It's done better. The Goonies was not 2 hours and 3 minutes. This movie's padded out. This is way too long. I'm like, okay, we get it. Hawaii's beautiful. It's a nice landscape. I want to go there one day. And you waste Kelly Hu in this movie. One of the most gorgeous Asian actresses I've ever seen. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I'm glad this movie wasn't in theaters. I would have walked out. It got an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was too favorable. This movie was dull, man. And it's a feature film debut. The film was shot in Brooklyn, Hawaii, Thailand, and the Dominican Republic. Nice looking locations, but again, it was not the movie I was expecting. And I wanted to love it, but I was just bored. This movie, at 90 minutes, we get it, guys. The kids are looking for their heritage and treasure. You could have made that 90 minutes. The extra 30 minutes are not needed. The subplots with the family are not needed. I don't feel the closeness of the family like I did in Shazam. There is no villain like I can remember. The film is forgettable. I already forgot it from months ago, and I'm like, yeah, because it's dull. And it is. If you've never seen it, I would say skip it. Go watch Moana. Go watch Lilo and Stitch. Go watch The Goonies. You're going to get a much better entertaining experience than this movie. And it was written by Christina Strain, a woman. What else has she written? She wrote the sci-fi. She wrote The Runaways, which is a good Marvel show, but that had actors that are actually competent. And she's a colorist on a lot of Marvel comic books, which is, stick with that. You're not a writer. You're not a film writer. She wrote some DC stuff, Superman and Batman, Superman Godfall, Supergirl, Volume 5. Yeah. As a screenwriter, no, she's only done a couple of short films and episodes of The Magicians and Shadow and Bone. That's another movie that came out this year on Netflix back in April. That's with a bunch of people I also never heard of. Ben Barnes, I've heard of him, but I don't like it. That's a TV show. It's a TV series, so she should stick with television because movies is not her strong point. The director of this movie is Jude Wang, and this is his directorial debut. He or no, is it a man or a woman? Let me see. Taiwanese American born writer. Whoever this person is, it's their debut, so I'm not gonna put too much pressure on them. But do better, get a better writer next time, because I was just bored out of my mind. The dialogue was very forgettable. I was laughing at how stupid it was, and it's very sanitized. Like for a PG movie, nothing happens. Like you see a lot of the things that happen in the movie. Hold on, it's pointless. It's like it's stuff that I've seen done better. And they try to put a romance in there that doesn't work. It feels really forced. You have the kids just they can act with each other, but it's very typical. It's very cliche. You know how the movie's gonna end, and I could have done better than this. There's nobody black in this movie either, which is I know it's Hawaii, but still, it's mostly just Asians and tan looking Hawaiians. That's about it. The representation is mostly them. The Sleepover was a better movie than this because I laughed and it was way shorter. It was not 2 hours and 3 minutes. Marvel movies can be that long because they have jokes and great effects and fun, and the actors are having a ball. Here, I was just bored. The director's doing a Jessica Gowan ABC project, a TV movie. Yeah, stick with television because you're not much of a film director. Yeah, you're not much. And Finding Ohana, I'm glad it didn't make it to theaters. It would have bombed because it was so boring. And if you've seen the movie and like it, that's more power to you. But I would say stay away. Just don't watch. Watch the movies I suggested. You're going to get a much better experience. You're not going to be bored out of your mind. Dora was only about 90 minutes. It was not 2 hours and 3 minutes. It didn't have padding and a bunch of like shots that go on for way too long. I'm like, can you please end this? I have a life to get back to. But anyway, it's just a movie that's not. It wasn't for me. It wasn't. And there's movies on Netflix that are good, and there's some that are bad, and there's some that are just mediocre that you'll forget about the next day. Like this was one of them, and I'm glad I finally got to do a rant on it because it just bored me out of my mind, and I wish it could have been a lot better. But anyway, that's my rant on Finding Ohana. It sucks. It's one of the worst movies I've seen this year because of how bored I was. It's at number 5, but it's still pretty lame. It could have been much better. And boring me to death is not something you want to do on a year that we've had so far. Thankfully, it's not going to get a sequel. Sleepover, I think, is, and so is some other movies like Extraction and whatever. They deserve it because they weren't boring. They gave me some entertainment through these pandemic years of 2020 and 2021. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Hopefully, my next review will be better tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Later.